There are 3 levels of handling rudeness. They provide techniques that turn any verbal attack in your favor, earning you more respect, trust, and confidence. Think about it. Have you ever walked away from a rude comment and replayed it in your head all day, wishing you'd said something smarter? Maybe it happened at work, at a family dinner, in line at the store. You froze or smiled or laughed it off. Then you carried it with you for hours, days, even years. You are not alone. Most of us were raised to be the bigger person, to let it go. But over time, biting your tongue starts to feel like biting your soul. I will show you exactly why those moments hit so hard and how to respond with quiet power without sinking to their level. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what most of us do instead. Because when a cutting remark catches us off guard, we don't reach for a strategy, we just react. And those reactions, they usually fall into 4 familiar patterns. I've done them. You probably have too. Let's walk through them and analyze why they leave us feeling worse, not better. 1. The snapback. You lash out. No filter, no pause, just, well, maybe if you actually did your job? For a moment, it feels great. You stood your ground. You didn't let it slide. But then comes the fallout, escalation, arguments, awkward tension. You won the moment, but lost your peace. It's human, it's impulsive, and it's a response most likely to backfire. There is a better way to hold power, without turning up the heat. I will show you later. 2. The self-softener. This one's sneaky. Someone's rude and you respond with, haha, yes, I've always been bad at that. Or you start explaining yourself in circles. You are trying to keep things polite, smooth, and reasonable. But here is the problem. When you make yourself the punchline or the defendant, you are giving their rudeness a free pass. Later, you are the one lying awake, wondering why nobody takes you seriously. 3. The freeze. The moment hits and your brain just stalls. You smile awkwardly, maybe nod. Then hours later, brushing your teeth, the perfect comeback finally arrives. Too late. This is the freeze response. It's not weakness, it's your nervous system trying to protect you. But the result? A frustration loop. You didn't speak up, and it feels like failure even when it wasn't. We will cover a simple pause technique soon that works even when your mind goes blank. 4. The silent exit. No fight, no reply, you just withdraw. You call it letting it go, but what really happens? You stop bringing up certain topics, you avoid certain people, and the rudeness, it doesn't disappear, it just settles in. It feels like self-protection, but over time it becomes self-erasure. Look, these reactions all make sense. They are survival moves, but survival isn't the same as strength. And over time, these habits don't protect your peace, they slowly chip away at it. So let's shift. Let's talk about small, smart tools that let you respond with dignity, not drama. You're about to learn how to hold your ground without raising your voice. First responses, quiet power moves. These first-line defenses are simple, subtle, and incredibly effective. They don't require a clever comeback. They just help you stay in control without saying much at all. Stick around. The next 60 seconds would change how you respond to rudeness for the rest of your life. The 4-second pause. Someone says something sharp. You feel the heat rise, and instead of firing back, you pause. Look them in the eye. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say nothing. Maybe raise an eyebrow. That's it. The silence breaks the rhythm. It shifts the tension back onto them. They feel the discomfort, not you. People often trip over their own rudeness when you don't meet them with a reaction. They fidget, reframe, backpedal. It feels grounded, calm, in control. You bought yourself time and didn't give away your peace. Silence isn't weakness, it's the sound of choosing your moment. There is a deeper kind of strength in waiting. In that space between stimulus and response, that's where your freedom lives. Most people rush to react. You choose to pause. That's rare and powerful. Did you mean technique? This one's sneaky and powerful. Someone takes a jab. You ask calmly, did you mean for that to sound dismissive? Did you mean to embarrass me just now? And then you wait. You're not attacking, you're asking. That subtle shift puts the spotlight back on their behavior, not your reaction. They'll usually deny bad intent, and walk their comment back without you ever raising your voice. It feels respectful but firm. You didn't have to win. You just owned the moment with clarity. The mirror. This one's almost unfair. You reflect their words back as a neutral question. You're wearing that? I'm wearing this? You think that's a good idea? That's not a good idea? It's a mirror, and most people hate seeing themselves reflected in a bad light. You're not defending yourself. You're just holding up their own words and letting them feel them. It feels cool, effortless, quietly confident. Intermediate tools. When it keeps happening. Okay, what if the rudeness isn't random? What if it's the coworker who always interrupts, the friend who can't stop making digs, or their family member who uses sarcasm like a sword? That's when you need more than a pause. You need tools to protect the relationship without sacrificing your self-respect. Here is how to stay kind without staying silent. The empathy breach. They snap, criticize, get passive-aggressive. Instead of pushing back, you gently step forward. You seem frustrated. Is something going on? That's not like you. Everything okay? It disarms them. You shift the energy from conflict to connection. And 9 times out of 10, their rudeness has nothing to do with you. You are not excusing the behavior. You are redirecting it. It feels centered, compassionate. You didn't absorb their mood. You held space for it. The boundary setter. Polite, clear, zero drama. I'm open to feedback, but I need you to express it respectfully. Happy to talk, but not in that tone. Some people don't realize they are being rude. Others have been getting away with it for years. A boundary is a definition of your self-respect. It feels strong, light, and free. You didn't shrink. You didn't explode. And that calm firmness often earns more respect than confrontation ever could. If you've never practiced saying these out loud, now's the time, even softly to yourself. Don't think of boundaries as walls. Think of them as doors with locks, and you hold the key. Advanced tools, when it's calculated. Some people are just rude. Others know exactly what they are doing. They test you, they poke, they use rudeness like a tool to dominate, to manipulate, to shake your ground. By now, you've learned how to stay calm, hold a pause, and set a boundary. But what if someone keeps pushing? These next tools offer those moments when the stakes are high and you want to shut it down without losing your cool. Let's raise the game. Name plus redirect. This is calm control in action. You call it like you see it, then shift the conversation somewhere useful. That came across as dismissive. What I'm actually trying to address is, that felt personal. Can we refocus on the issue? You are not attacking the person, you're identifying the behavior that breaks their rhythm and takes the wind out of their tone. At the same time, you lead the conversation forward. You stay above the drama and in charge of the room. It feels composed, assertive, and respected. You didn't ignore the jab, but you didn't let it derail you either. Coming up next, a technique that turns the dig into your leverage. Strategic agreement. This one's unexpected, maybe even uncomfortable at first. Someone throws a rude jab, and instead of pushing back, you agree with the small truth in it. You are right, the deadline slipped. Let's focus on how we can fix it. Yeah, I've been tense lately. Thanks for your patience, let's reset. They expect resistance, drama, a comeback. Instead, you disarm them with maturity and pull the conversation into a place they weren't ready for, constructive ground. It's a power move disguised as humility. It feels confident, secure, and in control. You took the sting out of the comment and left their momentum in the dust. Pro tip: this works especially well with people who rely on emotional bait. Rudeness is almost never personal. It's pressure leaking sideways. Stress, insecurity, emotional overload. When you stop absorbing that as truth about you, everything changes. Interrupt the pattern with kindness. This one's advanced at its pure elegance. Someone makes a passive-aggressive remark, a meet-and-room jab, a family gathering dig. You don't respond. You don't flinch. You just shift the energy. Coworker, If someone had done their research, we wouldn't be here. You? By the way, how was your son's graduation last weekend? It interrupts the attack and humanizes the moment. You remind everyone that this isn't a courtroom or battlefield, it's a conversation. And suddenly, the rude person is exposed, not by confrontation, but by contrast. It feels effortless, elevated, and in charge of the emotional tone. You didn't get pulled in, and you didn't carry the residue home with you. Try it. The results are surprisingly powerful. Every interaction is a fork in the road. We can pass on the hostility or interrupt it. Sometimes, the smallest response, a pause, a mirror, a calm redirect, is a form of social healing. One moment of dignity in a world that badly needs it. You don't need the perfect comeback. You don't need to win every exchange, and you definitely don't need to match someone else's bad behavior just to feel strong. What you do need and deserve is a way to walk away with your dignity intact. These tools, they are not about shutting people down. They're about standing tall, calmly, clearly, and without apology. Start small. Try one with a stranger. Practice in low-stakes moments. And when someone crosses the line, you'll know exactly how to hold your ground without losing your peace. If this resonated with you, drop a comment and tell me, which of these strategies will you try first? And share this with someone who is tired of biting their tongue. See you next time.